Hello everybody, David Shuster here. Today we're diving into how Fox News continues to try and shape the political and campaign narrative, especially when it comes to defending Donald Trump. In a recent segment, Fox host Kayleigh McEnany and Ainsley Earhardt went all in on claiming Donald Trump was unfairly targeted during the Harris debate. Let's break down what really happened.
Look, there was something that opened my eyes this morning, Ainsley, from the LA Times, and it is about the preparation that David Muir did for the debate along with his co-moderator. And this is what they said. With co-moderator David Muir, Davis, that's Lindsay Davis, had studied hours of campaign rallies and interviews to prepare for the much anticipated event at Philadelphia's National Constitution Center, and were ready to counter the candidate's most egregious statements. I mean, one candidate's, we should say. The decision to attempt to correct the candidates was in response to the June 27th CNN debate between Trump and President Biden, whose poor performance led to his exit from the race. When I read that, I hear, in other words, Trump trounced Joe Biden. That can never happen again. And therefore, we are going to watch Trump rallies, not both, to check one candidate.
Except that is not at all what the article from the Los Angeles Times actually stated. The article didn't say the moderators prepared by watching just Trump rallies. The article said the moderators studied rallies and speeches of both candidates and compiled a list of fact-check responses for both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Kayleigh McEnany altered the LA Times reporting to fit McEnany's own biased and misleading narrative. And this is a consistent pattern among Fox News hosts and their self-proclaimed journalists. Accuracy and facts get thrown out the window in order to accommodate the conservative Fox News agenda and Donald Trump's talking points. And it's increasingly clear that presenting a skewed version of reality, that's become the job description at Fox, not responsibly informing viewers of the facts. This pattern of distorting facts or ignoring them altogether not only undermines the public trust, but also creates an environment where dangerous misinformation thrives. When influential figures and their networks deliberately reshape the truth, it erodes the very fabric of our democracy. Citizens rely on credible reporting and clear facts to make informed decisions. And when that process is compromised, the consequences can be enormous. Now, back to the manufactured outrage over the debate. Why would Kayleigh McEnany and other conservatives believe that the debate moderators were unfair to Trump? Because that bolsters the conservative talking points that Donald Trump could not have had a bad night by himself. If you look at the debate transcript and review independent fact-check reports, you will see that nonpartisan analysts found Donald Trump lied 5 times as often as Kamala Harris. As a result, the debate moderators pushed back on Trump's claims more. But in conservative fantasy land, Trump and Harris lied equally and should have been corrected equally. The idea that Trump is a habitual liar, a frequent liar, is not something conservatives and Donald Trump supporters can bring themselves to accept. As a result, Trump MAGA world and countless conservatives have become disconnected from reality. Trump and his supporters have embraced a worldview that is so detached from facts that they see any attempt to correct Trump's falsehoods as evidence of bias or a conspiracy. In the minds of Trump defenders, including Fox hosts like Kayleigh McEnany, the disparity in fact-checking can only mean that the debate moderators were in collusion with the Harris campaign. But again, the reality is much simpler. Donald Trump was fact-checked more frequently because he made more false and egregiously misleading statements, whereas Kamala Harris largely spoke in line with verifiable facts. The GOP's willingness to turn this into a narrative about unfair media treatment highlights the party's growing estrangement from truth-based politics. Haitian immigrants are stealing and eating dogs and cats. Abortion laws allow babies to be killed post-birth. Inflation has reached record levels. Public schools are providing students with sex change operations. None of that is true. And yet, a significant number of Trump supporters believe the nonsense because it is peddled on conservative channels like Fox News. In this particular discussion about the debate, host Ainsley Earhardt quickly echoed Kayleigh McEnany's claim, agreeing that Trump was unfairly fact-checked more than Harris, further pushing the narrative of media bias against the former president.
I agree with you. It was plural. David Muir and Lindsay Davis said we were ready to counter the candidates, plural, most egregious statements, but they didn't counter Kamala's egregious statements. Here's where she lied. She talked about the Heritage Foundation care. You know he wasn't involved in that. That was, she called it Trump's Project 2025. She said that several times. Said he supports an abortion ban. That was sent back to the states. He's not banning abortions. Ban on IVF. He knows that a lot of women rely on IVF, or men too, to start a family. He never said this. Then she said Trump's going to cut Medicare. Not true. Said that Trump supports a national sales tax. Not true. There were dozens of lies that she said, and not once was she fact-checked.
And there were nearly a dozen false statements there from Earhart. On Project 2025, Donald Trump has said he's not involved, but he has dozens of staffers who are involved and who say they are carrying out Donald Trump's wishes. Earhart said Trump is not banning abortions. Actually, Donald Trump has taken credit for the U.S. Supreme Court overturning abortion rights, and several states in turn have banned abortions thanks to Donald Trump. Donald Trump supports a national sales tax. Not true, said Earhart. Well, actually, Donald Trump has said he is open to it. Harris said Donald Trump wants to change Social Security and Medicare. Not true, said Earhart, except that Trump has repeatedly said there have to be changes to Medicare and Social Security. So again, even in the recitation from Fox about what is true and false, the Fox hosts are misleading their audience. But even if one accepts that Kamala Harris said a few things that were misleading or false or out of context, was Harris as much of a liar in the debate as Donald Trump?
Let's get a fact check now of the debate. CNN senior reporter Daniel Dale was listening closely to both candidates. Daniel, what stood out to you?
Jake, what stood out was that this was a staggeringly dishonest debate performance from former President Trump. Just lie after lie on subject after subject. By my preliminary count, Jake, Trump made at least 33 false claims. 33. By contrast, by, again, a preliminary count, Vice President Harris made at least one false claim, though she added at least a few misleading claims and a few more that lack key context. I think a lot of Americans say, well, all politicians lie. No major presidential candidate before Donald Trump has ever lied with this kind of frequency. A remarkably large chunk of what he said tonight was just not true. And this wasn't like little exaggeration, political spin. A lot of his false claims were untethered to reality.
Independent fact check groups say Trump was far worse. And so Donald Trump got more pushback from the moderators. And in Fox News, we are witnessing a profound disconnect between reality and perception. This isn't merely about Donald Trump being fact-checked more than Harris. It's a reflection of a deeper, more troubling trend where truth is sacrificed for the sake of a narrative and an agenda. And in a media landscape where sensationalism often overshadows sincerity, we're left questioning, well, what happens to our collective understanding when facts are twisted to fit an agenda? When entire networks craft stories to reinforce pre-existing biases, the networks don't just skew the news, they shape our very sense of what is real and what is not. This trend doesn't just affect politics, it permeates our daily lives, influencing how we see the world and how we interact with others. All of this challenges us to confront some uncomfortable truths about the media's role in our lives and to reclaim our standing as informed critical thinkers. By seeking out genuine stories and holding media accountable, we can reconnect with a more authentic understanding of the world. It will not be easy. The forces that support bias and misinformation are significant. But remember, the goal here is not just to correct misinformation. It is to create a media environment that respects and honors our shared quest for truth and transparency. Our society depends on empirical facts. Our lives require information that is accurate and trustworthy. A post-factual world where anything and everything could be true is a recipe for chaos and instability. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.